Hi, my name's Denise. Welcome to my channel. This video, I'm going to share with you some tips that how I use Procreate. I had a viewer's question last week, and I didn't think I'd get to it this soon, but I had a shortened week of being able to make video, so I thought this would be something a little bit easy I could pop in. And so, Jill, thank you for this question. She asked, could I share a bit about how I use Procreate in my art? I think for the most part, I use it as an editing tool to try things out, make big changes, adding things, taking things away. If I'm looking at the painting and I just sort of don't want to leap in with the paintbrush and wet paint yet. So Procreate gives me the opportunity to just try stuff. So I took a painting that I finished some months ago, and now as it hasn't sold, I've been looking at it because it's hanging in the area, in my dining area. So I get to see it every day and, hang out with it. And so I thought, all right, what if I make some changes? What if I try some new things on that painting? So I took the opportunity to use that one as an example for you. And another way I use it is very much like I used it for a painting of still life recently, where I had flowers. I had the two cups that I use a lot, and my little coffee percolator, and I wanted to get those shapes right. So I'll pop in a little video here, and you'll see that I just sort of placed them on my table without all of the things. I had to bring in the flowers later, but I popped in the shapes and I put the jar of the container with brushes, which was to be the vase. So I just sort of made these placements and um, took that photo and then took that into Procreate to just try an idea and to bring and to draw around the objects, giving me the design to then take onto my canvas. So that's another way I might use it sometimes, especially to get the hang of a particular odd shape that that you want to portray it quite well and then play. Like if you get your shapes right of the things you're wanting to express, then you've got, if you want all your differences in a painting, you can have things that are in the right proportion and then things that are out of proportion. You can break the rules, but you've got all the different elements or ideas or differences kind of making up something that's more interesting than everything just well behaved. I think I I love I love seeing artwork that's quirky, and so I think I'm chasing down the element of quirk sometimes. But anyway, that's what's in this one is a meandering, following me through making some changes on a painting using Procreate, and then just a few examples at the end of how it could go. All right. Thanks for joining me.
First of all, I'm going to use my iPad to take a photo of this painting that I'm going to make some edits using Procreate. Okay, so first you open Procreate and I'll go to another start from scratch. So we say plus screen size and it brings up a new screen, and then you go to the tools there, add, and it says insert a photo. So insert your photo. That's the one we took. Okay, so then what's important is that you choose another layer. So that's your layer with your picture on, and then this layer you can make changes and it won't change your image that you've brought in. So if I was going to make an edit to this, I was thinking that maybe the red orangey kind of wall is too dramatic, too strong for this painting. So I might look around and think, is there a colour in this painting that I might like to try? So what about that one? So putting my finger on it, it then takes it up here. 2 means that I can use it. So let's see what happens if I do that. Now with brushes, I actually just use calligraphy script nearly all the time. There are so many options, and I have not spent the time learning how to use those. So that's my favorite calligraphy script. So then I just use that, and you can change the thickness of it over here and the opacity of it over here. So I'll put the opacity up high and that thing. So now I just might have a go at changing the background. So I might make it a bit bigger. So what you can do is you can sort of like make a shape. So you've got to make sure it's closed at each corner, the shape. And then you can actually come over and fill it in. Okay. It's quite a good way to do when you're just editing, so you don't get lots of lines. So I'll make like a little shape here. I actually love leaving a little bit behind of the colour that was there. You know, like a little bit of the background seeping through. It's a little tricky. Okay. Oops, that means there was a gap. There's a gap in there, just a tiny gap there. You can tap to go backwards. Try again. Okay. And these little pieces here. So what do we think of that? It's a lot calmer, isn't it? Really different feeling. And the nice thing is with this, we can turn it off, turn it on, so you can compare. I quite like it. You can duplicate that layer, and so then I'm going to turn that one off. So you've got to have things turned on and off. So this one's now turned on, and I'm going to try a different color. What if I made it white, or actually sort of a gray? Sort of a gray. And that color picker using my finger is now gone over here, and I can actually do a whole piece at once. But I don't like that as much as having it that sort of blue. And go tap and see backwards. What other colour would be interesting to try? You know, the idea that this looks a little cooler, and this is sort of warmer, so the cooler then pushes it back a little bit, which is good. I wonder, would it be good to have it a little bit lighter than what's already in this painting, so we don't look like we're looking through, but this looks like it's on here, this piece of art. So we're going back to that, and we can See if we can lighten it. Not really sure if that works, maybe, not sure. That gives it a little bit of green. Okay, I'm not exactly sure how to adjust that, or did it already? Maybe it did actually. Okay, this is a better way to adjust it. Might want to make it a little bit brighter or grayer. Okay, now let's see. Okay, see, a little bit lighter. That can be interesting. Should have, oh yeah, okay. So that's something that's changed. This all kind of looks okay to leave. What about changing up anything else? Putting a bit of a difference in a few of the leaves. I'm not really sure if I want to do that, so you can just go backwards. Oh, I know, another change that could be, we could change the colour of her dress. I particularly love a green dress. Let's try if she has a green dress. Did I make a new layer for this? No. Okay, I might go backwards. See how that layers the wall that I did? So better to do a new layer for a new detail, so that you can always chop and change and turn some things off. So you've got a bit more freedom to see, what did I do? What did I just do? I'm going by a bit of the lighter highlighting I kind of did before. I wonder if that will work and keep the light bits in. No. So I'm just sort of, playing for the fun of it here, seeing what happens if I change the colour of her dress. And of course, when you come to do the painting and change the painting, it'll change again, because it's really hard to recreate these colours that you're getting on a digital screen. But this really does give you some ideas to play without making big changes to your painting that you might not end up being happy with. Like, you can just sort of try something first. And that's sort of interesting, leaving little bits of blue. I quite like that. I don't know why it went dull. So that's interesting, but then it makes me want to change the colour of the chairs, because, that's too much green. So what would I do? I could change the chairs to be red. Get them at another. So then we're not going to see the shadow behind them anymore, unless we leave little snippets of green, which we can do. and one could be blue. Okay, so blue chair looks quite nice, you know, like, and then we can do again, we can duplicate that layer and try what would it look like if the chairs were white. So that's sort of like interesting again. That's them coloured. It really depends on your taste, you know. It's kind of fun having them coloured because we did take a big piece of colour out by changing the wall. So I'm sort of inclined to think, you know, having coloured chairs is quite lovely. What else could be interesting? Would add a bit of interest. There's sort of like a warm side and a cool in a way, like this is same, sorry, this being the same as this is, I'm wondering about that. So what happens if I put a new layer, make a change to this pot that's a bit dark. What happens if that's like that? To give it quite a difference. It's a bit heavy, so you can do the rubber, the eraser, and bring, oh, it's too fine, a bit bright. Maybe try, it's too fat. Do some texture in it. Sort of like a basket. Interesting how, you know, like you can bring a different pattern in, a bit of texture, that could be interesting. What happens if we have, I'm worried about it being a bit matchy, but what if it's grey? So let's see if we like that better. Well, it might be a bit too tricky. I might have to put them side by side, but you know, that gives you a bit of an idea. Oh, you could, oh, there is a little bit of a pattern on the leaves, but you could make that more strong if you wanted. So anyway, I hope that helps to give you a quick lesson on how you can make edits in a painting using Procreate. Otherwise, seek out some YouTube videos of people that do teach this, because you can learn lots of tricks that way.
hope you enjoyed that. I wanted to have a chat at the end here and just say I lost a few days this week to headache and migraine. And so I just wanted to reach out to those of you who sometimes have that happen. You feel like you almost get your life gets a little stolen from you sometimes if aches or pains or things cause you to not be able to go in your studio. So that's what I experienced this week, but I tried to be really gentle on myself and, um, not get really mad with my body for being in pain and just sort of go gently about it. Um, I sometimes, I think, get into those migraine hazes when I've had a period of really big overthinking. And sometimes I realize that that's one of the gifts of making art for me is the way that if I can bring myself to it in a kind of non-judgmental, non-pressurized way, it can really ease all that overthinking, or it can bring the overthinking to the page and kind of work it out or let it land. Um, Morning pages is kind of good for that, but also creating, even little drawings in my tiny sketchbook. Little wee things to remember, um, thoughts that and ideas that come up. Just making little pictures, little notes. They can be helpful. Um, anyway, feeling much better now. Oh gosh, it's quite a relief on the other side of illness, isn't it? Um, when you're in the middle of it, you can feel it. You've lost sight of how it feels to not be in pain. And so when pain eases back out again, incredible relief. So feeling really grateful for that. Uh, so anyway, onward, as Liz Gilbert says. And thanks for watching. And if you like the video, do the tick. It really helps. And if you're not already a subscriber, I hope you'll be back. All right. See ya.